By the time this video comes out, you might have seen that I'll be taking part in Match of the Delay, a proxy Premier League for the current season, curated by the wonderful Hood Gaming and featuring 19 amazing content creators. And me. I'm in over my head, so let's talk about it. In FM24 to date, I've managed 3 Premier League teams, all as part of the Moneyball Clinic series: Wolves, Chelsea and Tottenham. The gods of fate have looked kindly upon me and I've drawn Chelsea once more. This should be a good thing, right? We achieved back-to-back titles playing an uber-transitional game built around the abundant pace in the squad. A squad which, by the end of the second season, had only 6 players I've got available to me this time round. You see, we started in your world mode and were pretty aggressive in stripping out the deadwood. Factor in Chelsea's real-life transfer policy of signing 400 players each window, and the 2 squads are vastly different. But let's treat this like a brand new Moneyball Clinic episode and look at what we have at our disposal. In goal we have Robert Sanchez or Philip Jorgensen. Both have very similar pizza charts, with Jorgensen being marginally better when it comes to XG prevented, and notably better when it comes to possession lost. At right back, Reece James or Malo Gusto. James is more creative and progressive, Gusto more active in pressuring and tackling. We replaced Gusto previously because of his awful possession metrics. Disasi and Badiashile have similar outputs at centre-back. Both are capable, whilst Disasi's goal return suggests he's a threat from set pieces. Frustratingly, Fofana, Colwill and Adarabioyo did not play enough in the simulations. We're a little blind here. Fofana's attribute suggests he's our fastest centre-back. Colwill's description as a ball-playing defender suggests he might be the most comfortable on the ball, and Adarabioyo's traits give me a heart attack. At left-back, Cucurella and Chilwell. I got rid of both of them when I managed Chelsea last, which doesn't exactly bode well. Cucurella is more creative, and as a result, more wasteful in possession. Chilwell is more dribbly and wins his headers. Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia are our defensive midfielders. Caicedo is more active in the press, safer on the ball, and a more effective carrier. Lavia is more active in the tackle and registers more expected assists. Enzo Fernandez and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall as central midfielders. Again, not too much to separate them. Dewsbury-Hall might look better, courtesy of being in the 75th percentile for goals, but he was plying his trade in the Championship. Carney Chukwuemeka and Cesare Casade could also be used here as more dynamic attacking options, but both fell short of the minutes threshold. From an attribute standpoint, none of them stand out. Right-footed attacking midfielders Jadon Sancho, João Felix and Mykhailo Mudryk. Sancho was rather good. Goals, expected assists and dribbles, all whilst being rather safe on the ball. Felix, less so. Some of that will be the result of playing more centrally, but you would hope to see an uptick in expected assists, and his goal return from shot volume is disappointing. Mudryk is somewhere in between. Left-footed attacking midfielders makes for bleak reading. Pedro Neto lacked output. Noni Madueke was somehow worse, and Cole Palmer did not play enough, although his attribute profile suggests a player who's more of a secondary goal threat than a creator. Up front, Christopher Nkunku and Nicholas Jackson. The game considers Nkunku's best position to be as an attacking midfielder, Jackson as a right winger. That skews their pizza charts a little, but both were effective goal scorers, with Nkunku also being good at setting up chances for others. This all paints a picture of a confused squad. We have players who like control, comfortable on the ball and patient. We have players who like chaos, hustlers more suited to a transitional game. We have players who can do it all, players who can't do jack, and players we know nothing about. This is where I'm out of my comfort zone. Normally I'd pick a style and alter the squad to suit, but there are no transfers to be had. We've got to work with what we've got. And we're going to get no help as the season progresses. Each game will be played standalone using versus mode. This is a blessing, allowing us to work around each other's schedule. It also means that stats won't accumulate over the course of the season. There's a fair argument that playing semi-attributeless without supporting data is probably a little dumb. But let's make it a lot of dumb. We're going to try, within reason, to avoid the meta. which means I need to find out what the meta is. I headed over to FM Arena and downloaded the top-rated tactic. A cursory look suggests that all the top tactics look very similar. A 4-2-4 with 2 attacking fullbacks, 2 ball-playing defenders, 2 supporting defensive midfielders, 2 inside forwards, and some variation of pressing forwards and/or advanced forwards. Instructions are equally homogeneous: narrow, pass into space, focus down the wings, shorter passing, highest tempo, low crosses, and run at defence. Counter and counter-press, distribute quickly and roll it out. Press high and defend high with maximum intensity and aggressiveness. Prevent short distribution and invite crosses. I say within reason, as I'm not so dumb as to avoid every single one of these instructions. Some of them make sense and are perfectly reasonable ways of playing football. For example, I've established many times that my teams will always counter-press.
You know we always counter-press. It's simply the best. Time to get the ball back. To get the ball back.
So let's put some rules in place. We cannot use a 4-2-4. We're not going to use mirror roles, for example 2 supporting defensive midfielders. We also cannot match more than half of those instructions per phase. To explain, let's use in possession as an example. It appears the meta is a combination of 8 instructions. We can at most use 4 of these. So if I wanted to focus play down both wings, pass into space, and run at defence, I could not play narrow, shorter passing, higher tempo, or use low crosses. For sliders, such as tempo, I am only considering exact matches, so a slightly higher tempo would be fine. These rules are completely arbitrary, and given my absolute lack of experience with PvP, probably an unnecessary extra handicap. At least I now have an excuse when we finish rock bottom. It's not enough of an excuse though, and this is where I need your help. I want your craziest suggestions. Maybe you want to see what an over-the-top relationism system would look like in a PvP setting. Or perhaps, given Chelsea's ridiculous squad size, we should field an all-goalkeeper lineup. Okay, we're not going to try and deliberately lose, but I do want to try out some more outlandish ideas. Not regular attributes though, that's far too outlandish. Let me know what you want to see in the comments below. Of course, by the time this video is out, some games will already have been played. This will be packaged together by an awesome editorial team for each Match of the Delay episode that you can watch on Hood Gaming's channel. A few days after each highlight episode, I'll be posting the full game from my point of view. Now before I go, I want to revisit the short-lived Quick Thoughts series. It was short-lived because FM25 updates came screeching to a halt almost as soon as they began. But we have a new press release. SI have confirmed that there will be no additional data updates for FM24, as directing resources away from an already delayed game is not really viable. So here are my thoughts. No shit. I am surprised we got a statement at all, and it has got me wondering what scenarios we, as a fanbase, could make up and get an official response on. Everyone who pre-ordered FM25 must get a free jacuzzi. Miles must eat baked beans, and baked beans only until FM25 is released. FM26's database must include proprietary Sega characters as players. Their silence on these matters is deafening.